Welcome back to Wainsider, where we dive into the heart of the squared circle to uncover the raw, pulsating drama that defines WWE. Tonight, we're dissecting a moment that has set the wrestling world ablaze. Roman Reigns' shocking message to Solo Sikoa's MFT faction after SmackDown, a declaration that has ignited a full-blown family war within the bloodline. This wasn't just a promo, it was a gauntlet thrown down, a line drawn in the sand of a dynasty teetering on collapse. Let's unravel the emotional tapestry of this moment, tracing the history of the bloodline and the fractures that led to this explosive confrontation. The bloodline's story is one of power, a saga rooted in the Anoa family's storied legacy. When Roman Reigns crowned himself the tribal chief, he didn't just claim a title, he forged an empire. With Paul Heyman's cunning and the loyalty of the Usos, Reigns built a faction that dominated WWE, holding championships and commanding respect. But beneath the surface of that dominance lay a simmering tension. The weight of being the head of the table pressed down on Reigns, and his demand for absolute loyalty created a pressure cooker for those bound to him by blood. Jey Uso was the first to feel that pressure. A tag team legend alongside his twin Jimmy, Jey's journey into the bloodline was a baptism by fire. His early defiance of Reigns, those brutal, "I quit" matches, forced him to bend the knee, but the cost was steep. Jey's loyalty was forged in sacrifice, his individuality buried under the tribal chief's vision. Every title defense, every moment of glory for Reigns, came with Jey's sweat and silent resentment. The WWE Universe saw it in his eyes, a man torn between family and freedom. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Jimmy Uso, Jey's mirror, carried his own burdens. His role in the bloodline was less about defiance and more about survival. Jimmy's brief rebellion against Reigns was quickly quashed, but it left scars. The twins, once an unbreakable unit, found their bond strained by the hierarchy of the bloodline. They were the workhorses, the tag team champions who carried the faction's banner, but their sacrifices were often overshadowed by Reigns' spotlight. The love between brothers was real, but so was the strain of living in the tribal chief's shadow. Sami Zayn's arrival brought a new layer to this complex dynamic. An outsider welcomed into the fold, Sami's heart and humor briefly unified the bloodline, but his presence also exposed its fault lines. Jey's initial distrust of Sami gave way to a brotherly bond, only for it to shatter when Sami turned on Reigns at Royal Rumble 2023. That betrayal was a wound that never fully healed, a reminder that loyalty in the bloodline was a double-edged sword. Sami's exit left Jey questioning his own place, planting seeds of doubt that would grow over time. Solo Sikoa, the youngest of the group, was the silent enforcer, a man of few words but devastating impact. His loyalty to Reigns seemed unshakable, but there was always an undercurrent of ambition. Solo's role as the muscle of the bloodline was clear, but his quiet demeanor masked a deeper question: was he content to serve, or was he waiting for his moment to rise? The WWE Universe watched as Solo stood by Reigns, but the whispers of his potential rebellion were never far behind. Family, after all, is both a bond and a battleground. The bloodline's dominance was unmatched, with Reigns' reign as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion stretching over 1,000 days. But power comes at a cost, and the cost was unity. Jey's departure from the bloodline in 2023 was a turning point, a declaration that he could no longer live under Reigns' rule. His YEET movement became a symbol of independence, a way to carve his own path. Yet, the pull of family was strong, and Jey's heart remained tethered to the bloodline, even as he walked away. Fast forward to August 15, 2025, and the landscape of the bloodline had shifted dramatically. Solo Sikoa, once the loyal enforcer, had broken away, forming his own faction, the MFT, main family threat, with Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. This new group was a direct challenge to Reigns' authority, a rebellion that cut deeper because it came from within the family. Solo's transformation into a leader was a betrayal that echoed Sami's, but it carried the added weight of blood. The WWE Universe sensed a storm brewing, and SmackDown delivered the lightning. The main event of SmackDown saw Reigns and Jey Uso, reunited under tense circumstances, facing off against the MFT in a tag team match. The chemistry between Reigns and Jey was undeniable, but the cracks were still there. The match was brutal, with Solo's faction unleashing a relentless assault. As the bell rang, the WWE Universe thought the worst was over, but they were wrong. In a shocking climax, Solo Sikoa's MFT launched a vicious post-match attack, leaving Reigns and Jay broken in the ring. The assault was a statement, a declaration that Solo was no longer the enforcer but the usurper. Jacob Fatu's moonsault crushed Reigns, while Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga held Jay down, forcing him to watch. The crowd was stunned, and social media erupted with posts on X calling it the end of an era. Solo stood over Reigns, his face a mask of cold determination, as he declared the MFT the new face of the Anoa legacy. The attack wasn't just physical, it was a dismantling of everything Reigns had built. The WWE Universe was still reeling when Reigns, battered but unbowed, grabbed a microphone. His message to Solo's MFT was short but searing, a promise of retribution that echoed through the arena. As reported by Wrestling Observer, Reigns vowed to take back what's ours, a direct challenge to Solo's claim to the family's legacy. The words were laced with pain, not just from the attack but from the betrayal of a brother he had once trusted. The tribal chief's aura was shaken, but his resolve was ironclad. Backstage, the whispers were deafening. Sources close to WWE, as cited by PW Insider, suggested that this moment was a calculated move by Triple H to set the stage for a bloodline civil war at SummerSlam 2025. The attack was designed to expose Reigns' vulnerabilities, to show that the tribal chief was not invincible. Solo's MFT, with its blend of family ties and ruthless ambition, was positioned as a legitimate threat, a faction that could redefine the Anoa legacy. The question lingered. Could Reigns hold onto his throne? The emotional aftermath of this moment is where the story deepens. For Reigns, Solo's betrayal was personal, a knife in the back from the brother he had groomed. The WWE Universe saw the pain in his eyes, a rare glimpse of vulnerability from a man who had built his persona on invincibility. Jay, too, was shaken, caught between his loyalty to Reigns and the shock of Solo's rebellion. The twins had always been the heart of the bloodline, but now they were on opposite sides of a growing divide. The MFT's attack wasn't just about power, it was about legacy. Solo's declaration that his faction was the future of the Anoa family was a direct challenge to Reigns' claim as the tribal chief. As Bleacher Report noted, Solo's actions were rooted in years of silent resentment, a belief that he was more than just the enforcer. The addition of Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu, family members with their own ties to the Anoa lineage, gave Solo's rebellion legitimacy. This was no longer just a faction, it was a rival dynasty. The WWE Universe took to X, with fans divided over Solo's actions. Some saw him as a liberator, breaking free from Reigns' shadow, while others viewed him as a traitor, spitting on the family's legacy. The hashtag #BloodlineWar trended worldwide, reflecting the emotional weight of this schism. For Jay, the attack was a painful reminder of his own struggles within the bloodline. His decision to stand with Reigns was a choice of loyalty, but it came with the risk of losing another brother. Backstage rumors, as reported by Fightful Select, hinted at creative tensions within WWE about how to handle this storyline. Some writers pushed for Solo to fully eclipse Reigns, while others argued for a redemption arc for the bloodline. The uncertainty only added to the drama, as the WWE Universe speculated about what was next. Would Jimmy Uso, still recovering from injury, return to side with Reigns or join Solo's rebellion? The family's future was a puzzle with missing pieces, each one tied to blood and betrayal. The implications for SummerSlam 2025 are staggering. Reigns and Jay's tag team victory over the MFT on SmackDown was a small triumph, but the post-match attack shifted the narrative. Solo's faction is a force to be reckoned with, and their alliance with other anti-bloodline stars, as hinted by Wrestling Inc., could spell trouble. The MFT's message was clear: they don't just want to defeat Reigns, they want to erase him. The war for the Anoa legacy is just beginning, and the stakes have never been higher. The emotional core of this story lies in the fractured bonds of family. Reigns' message to Solo was more than a threat, it was a plea to remember what the bloodline stood for. The tribal chief, for all his flaws, built his empire on the idea of family, but that idea is crumbling. Jay's loyalty to Reigns is a testament to their shared history, but it's also a burden. Every spear, every sacrifice, has led to this moment, where blood is both a bond and a battleground. The Anoa family's legacy in WWE is a tapestry of triumphs and tragedies. From Yokozuna to The Rock to Roman Reigns, they have shaped the industry, but at a cost. Solo's rebellion is a mirror to Jay's own journey, a reminder that the pursuit of power can fracture even the strongest ties. The MFT's attack was a declaration that the old guard is fading, but Reigns' response showed that he's not ready to relinquish his crown. The WWE Universe is left on edge, waiting for the next chapter in this saga. The backstage whispers paint a picture of a creative team pushing the boundaries of storytelling. As Cageside Seats reported, WWE is leaning into the emotional complexity of the bloodline, using Solo's rebellion to explore themes of legacy and betrayal. The MFT's rise is a gamble, but it's one that could redefine WWE's landscape. If Solo can establish his faction as the new face of the Anoa family, it could shift the power dynamic for years to come. But if Reigns prevails, it will cement his status as the true tribal chief. The WWE Universe is still processing the weight of this moment. Reigns' message to Solo was a rallying cry, but it was also a cry of pain. The attack exposed the cracks in the bloodline, but it also showed their resilience. Jay's decision to stand with Reigns was a moment of unity, but it came with the shadow of Solo's betrayal. The family is at war, and the outcome will shape not just their legacy but the future of WWE. As we look to the horizon, the question looms, can the bloodline survive this war? Reigns' vow to take back what's his is a promise of bloodshed, but it's also a plea for redemption. Solo's MFT represents a new generation, one that respects the past but demands its own future. The WWE Universe is caught in the middle, torn between loyalty to the tribal chief and the allure of a new dynasty. The war for the Anoa legacy is a story of heart and heartbreak, and it's far from over. This moment is a microcosm of the bloodline's entire history, a clash of power, pride, and pain. Reigns' message to Solo was a stand for the family he built, but it was also an acknowledgement of its fragility. Jay's loyalty, Solo's rebellion, and the MFT's rise are all threads in a tapestry that is both beautiful and broken. The WWE Universe watches, breathless, as the family they've cheered for years tears itself apart. The legacy of the Anoa family is at stake, and every move is a gamble. In the end, this is about more than a message or an attack, it's about blood, trust, and the cost of betrayal.